What if your favorite horror movie wasn't just a story? What if the evil was real? From demonic possessions to unspeakable murders, these aren't Hollywood scripts. They're real cases, ripped from police reports, priest journals, and eyewitness accounts. And they've haunted our screens and the people who survived them. You've seen the movies. Now discover the horrifying truth behind them. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might never watch horror the same way again. In 1965, 16-year-old Sylvia Likens was left in the care of Gertrude Banishevsky, a trusted family friend. What unfolded inside that Indianapolis home would become one of the most disturbing true crime cases in American history. Tortured, starved, burned, killed. Sylvia suffered months of unimaginable abuse, not just at the hands of Gertrude, but also from neighborhood children manipulated into cruelty. The crime wasn't hidden, it thrived in plain sight. The Girl Next Door film dramatizes the events, but reality was worse. This chilling story is more than true crime. It's a societal mirror. It forces us to confront a haunting truth. When communities ignore abuse, monsters flourish in silence. In 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. entered a bar in Amityville, New York, frantically claiming his family had been murdered. Police rushed to 112 Ocean Avenue and found 6 members of the DeFeo family shot execution-style in their sleep. No signs of struggle, no cries for help. Ronald eventually confessed, but his motive and mental state remained chillingly unclear. Just a year later, George and Kathy Lutz moved into the same house, unaware of the horrors they would face. Within 28 days, they fled, citing demonic activity, glowing red eyes, slime oozing from walls, levitating furniture, and an oppressive presence. Was it a hoax, or the lingering energy of a mass murder? The events inspired the Amityville Horror films, forever embedding this haunted house in true crime and paranormal history. Germany, 1976. Anneliese Michel, a deeply religious 23-year-old, died after enduring 67 grueling Catholic exorcisms over 10 months. Her parents and 2 priests were charged with negligent homicide, accused of denying her medical help. But they insisted she wasn't mentally ill. She was possessed by 6 demons, including Lucifer and Judas. The real exorcism recordings are chilling. Screams, growls, even conversations in ancient tongues. Hollywood dramatized it in The Exorcism of Emily Rose, mixing legal thriller and true horror, but the case remains controversial. Science diagnosed epilepsy and psychosis, but her story asks a haunting question. When medicine fails, can faith save us? Or does it cost us everything? In 1981, the remote serenity of Keddie, California, was shattered. A family of 4 was found brutally murdered in cabin 28. The victims, bound with tape and wire, beaten with hammers, stabbed with knives. No signs of forced entry, no robbery, no clear motive. To this day, the Keddie cabin murders remain one of America's most chilling, unsolved crimes. Director Brian Bertino drew from this case and a haunting memory from his childhood, when a stranger knocked on his door late at night, asking for someone who didn't live there. That eerie experience became the seed for The Strangers, a home invasion horror that thrives on randomness and fear. Sometimes, horror doesn't come for revenge or money. Sometimes, it just knocks. In the early 1970s, the Perron family moved into a seemingly idyllic farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island. But their dream home quickly morphed into a house of horrors. From chilling whispers in the night to the unexplained levitation of household objects, the family claimed they were tormented by a dark, malevolent presence. Doors would slam shut violently, cold spots lingered in rooms, and Carolyn Perron, the mother, reported a terrifying episode of temporary possession. Desperate, they turned to renowned paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, whose chilling case files later inspired The Conjuring, now a cornerstone of the horror movie universe. But unlike the Hollywood version, the real Perron family shied away from publicity. For decades, their terrifying ordeal was quietly passed down in paranormal circles, largely unheard by the public. Have you ever faced the paranormal? Drop your story in the comments below. Ralph Sarchie wasn't just an NYPD sergeant, he was also a self-trained demonologist, patrolling the dangerous streets of the Bronx by day and investigating the paranormal by night. Sarchie claimed to have faced forces far beyond human comprehension. His chilling real-life experiences with demonic possession, haunted houses, and violent manifestations were chronicled in his book, Beware the Night, which inspired the horror thriller Deliver Us from Evil. Sarchie worked closely with priests during exorcisms, believing that evil isn't just an abstract concept, it's physical, intentional, and often targets the vulnerable. He saw signs of spiritual warfare everywhere, scratches on walls, voices in empty rooms, and victims seemingly overtaken by inhuman strength. Is demonic possession a terrifying reality, or is it a psychological veil for something deeper and darker? Two chilling words: Ivan Milat. In the early 90s, Australia's serenity was shattered as young backpackers vanished without a trace. Their final destination, Belanglo State Forest, now infamous in true crime circles. Victims were discovered mutilated, shot, stabbed, and even decapitated, their bodies buried miles apart, deep in the bushland. Milat preyed on free-spirited travelers, offering them rides under the guise of kindness. The 2005 horror film Wolf Creek borrowed heavily from this real-life nightmare, dramatizing the cold-blooded tactics of one of Australia's worst serial killers. This isn't just a scary story, it's a terrifying reminder. Not all monsters hide under the bed. Would you still accept a ride from a stranger in the middle of nowhere? There was no chainsaw, no cannibalistic backwoods family. But the real-life horror that inspired the Texas Chainsaw Massacre came from Ed Gein, a mild-mannered, reclusive farmer from Plainfield, Wisconsin, whose crimes shocked America. In 1957, police investigating a missing woman made a chilling discovery in Gein's home. They found furniture upholstered with human skin, skulls used as bowls, and a suit made from women's body parts. Though he confessed to only 2 murders, Gein's obsession with death drove him to rob graves and craft grotesque trophies from corpses. His twisted legacy redefined horror, inspiring not just the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but also Psycho and The Silence of the Lambs. Sometimes, monsters don't lurk in the shadows, they live next door. Ed Gein was also the twisted blueprint for Norman Bates in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, one of the most iconic psychological horror films of all time. Like Gein, Norman had a warped attachment to his mother. Gein kept his mother's room exactly as it was, untouched and eerily preserved, much like how Norman kept Mother alive in his mind. This connection between true crime and classic horror proves that real-life monsters can hide behind the most unassuming faces. Sometimes, the most terrifying killers aren't chainsaw-wielding maniacs. They're the quiet ones. In early 1800s Tennessee, the Bell family claimed to be tormented by a mysterious and malevolent entity known as the Bell Witch. It started with strange noises, knocking, scratching, whispers in the night. Then came ghostly apparitions, phantom voices, and violent physical attacks. John Bell, the family patriarch, suffered the most, ultimately dying under mysterious circumstances. Some believe his death was caused by the witch, marking it as the only documented case in US history where a spirit was accused of murder. The story gained renewed attention with the chilling film An American Haunting. But the Bell Witch legend still echoes through the haunted woods of Adams, Tennessee. Locals claim the spirit never left. Could it be that some ghosts don't need houses? Just a name and a story to keep them alive. The stories we tell in horror movies often begin in tragedy, but behind every jump scare, every scream, and every shadow is a family that never healed, a case that was never closed, a soul that never found peace. If these cases chilled you, help keep their memories alive by sharing this video, hitting the like button, and dropping a comment below. What if the next horror film you see is based on something happening right now?